welcome to Pedro's Movie Cavern. My name is Pedro, this is my movie cavern, and this is a video that was suggested to me by a comment on one of my videos from mmat75, who said it would be cool to see me do a top films from a specific year, so like from 1980, then 1981, 1982 and onwards. So this was quite a hard list to come up with because the 1980 was sort of like the leftovers from the 1970s. It wasn't until like 1981 that we did start to get a lot of the big name movies that we all came to love, all the cult movies and stuff. So I've selected 4 movies to talk about today, and you might agree with them, you might not, but they are some pretty obvious ones, to be honest with you. I also made a decision to not buy as many films now, not due to the cost, but because I'm running out of space. I've only got the one bookcase and the little one in the corner just over there. So everything's piling up on the there. As you can you see? No, that way. There we go. There. It's all piling up there, and I'm slowly running out of space to put more stuff. So I'm probably not going to be doing as many physical media updates because I've got no room to put them. But saying that, I did kind of buy 2 more films today. I'm going to show you them quickly. This is going to be like a mini update before we jump into the actual video. So the first one I bought is a film that has been on my list for a long time, and it's a film that I wanted to talk about in my brief history of post-apocalyptic movies, the 1970s, but it was a film that I couldn't talk about because I've never seen it and I've never had a chance to. And it is Andrei Tarkovsky's 1979 dystopian science fiction Cold War Russian masterpiece, Stalker. This is the Criterion release of Stalker. I have finally got this in my collection to watch, so I can sit down and watch 161 minutes of bleak Russian dystopian post-apocalyptica, which I'm really looking forward to because I really do need to see this film. This is the Criterion release. Like I said, there was no plan to pick this up, but I got off the train after work and Cardiff was ram-packed full of rugby supporters from Bristol and Bath because they played a massive sold-out match here in Cardiff at the Principality Stadium, or as if you're from Cardiff, you know it as the Millennium Stadium. And there were no buses running, and I thought, I'll walk to my brother's shop. So I walked to my brother's CEX just to have a quick look in their Blu-ray section, and I saw Stalker for 15 quid, and with my discount it was £12.25, so I'm not going to knock that. That is a lovely bargain of the day, and it's in really good nick as well. So this is now my 4th Criterion release alongside Shaft, Tokyo Drifter, and Night of the Living Dead. So Stalker, hey. And I kind of bought another copy of Dirty Dancing. So this is the copy that I already have. So I have 3 copies of Dirty Dancing. I have mentioned it's not a guilty pleasure. I absolutely adore Dirty Dancing. It was a film my mum watched a lot when we were kids. She used to put it on when she did ironing when we were very, very small. And it was a film that always stuck with me. And I really, really do like this film. I think it's a very well choreographed, very well acted, and just a great sort of feel-good musical movie. So this is the version that I already own. This is the 30th anniversary. I also own the 20th anniversary, which is a Region 1... Not Region 1, it's Region 3, but it's an American release. So this is the one that I've got. And I now have this release, which I've never seen before. And this came into work today, and I was just like, is that DVD or Blu-ray? But it's actually DVD and Blu-ray, and it is the Keepsake edition of Dirty Dancing, which is this one. I have never seen this release before, and it's a very nice release. It comes in this white box. It's like an old. It's a hard box as well, which is really nice, and it comes in this fold-out midi pack or mini pack, whatever they call it, and it's 3 discs. It does say that it's 2 discs. It doesn't mention the 3rd disc, so I don't really know what's on the 3rd disc. But yeah, it's a film that I really do like, and it's a film that I've now got 3 versions of, as well as the soundtrack on CD and on vinyl. So, chucking it over to me from about 2 hours ago. I will see you shortly. See ya. So, what are we doing? We are doing Pete's top 5 movies of 1980. Now, this is going to be really, really hard. This was really hard to nail a list of 5 movies from 1980, because I am not a huge 70s movie fan. There are films from the 1970s that I like, but trying to find a list of 5 films from 1980 was really, really hard, considering I haven't seen a lot of movies from 1980. Like I said, 1982 was, I could just keep adding films, because loads of films came out in 82, 1981, loads of films came out. But the films that I've listed are pretty obvious ones. Well, 2 pretty obvious ones, 1 not so obvious one, 1 movie that was classed as a video nasty, and a movie that I've talked about that was actually mentioned in my 1980s post-apocalyptic video part 1, or I think it was. So the first one is the movie Flash Gordon. I love Flash Gordon. Flash Gordon has been a film that I have watched ever since I was a kid. I have the 4K, like the really big 4K collection, which is such a good set. I love the weird ass fucking production design, the cinematography in it, the costumes in it, the music by Queen is incredible. Brian Blessed's "Gordon's alive" line, and Flash's line of when he escapes from rocket ship Ajax, where he's just like, "I'm flying blind on a rocket cycle, flying blind on a rocket cycle." I love it. I love Flash Gordon. It's such a good, fun time, and that was why I chose Flash Gordon as a top film of 1981. There are just a lot of enjoyable moments with that movie. Sam J. Jones as Flash Gordon, probably the biggest hit he ever had. Melody Anderson, again, the biggest hit she ever had. Ornella Muti, Timothy Dalton in a James Bond role. Who else was in there? Max von Sydow, just doing Max von Sydow things and nailing it. Who else is in it? Richard O'Brien is in it. Who else? Yeah, it's just a lot of fun. Like I said, the production design is incredible. Mike Hodges' direction is really good, and yeah, it's just a really fun popcorn comic book throwback movie that kind of reminds me of films like The Rocketeer, and even to a degree something like what's it called? Captain America: The First Avenger. Even though they're very, 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 very different movies, and you wouldn't really put them together. It's this whole retro science fiction aesthetic that it has. Again, another film that is really, really reminiscent of is Barbarella with Jane Fonda. I mean, that is a very odd movie, and it has the same sort of visual style as Flash Gordon. Flash Gordon, though, is just so good. It is so good. Like, there's the scene where he's in the main hall, and they start doing like the American football thing, and he's doing his quarterback thing, hut, and Melody Anderson's doing the cheerleader on the side. It's so good. I remember that as a kid, and just always loved that specific scene. There's the scene where they put the hand into the log and they get bitten by the snake, or there is what else is there? Like I said, there's the flying blind on a rocket cycle. There's the whip fight at the end on the tilting, like spiky platform. It's just a great, fun movie, and I fucking love Flash Gordon. So yeah, Flash Gordon is one of my top tips, or top picks for 1980. So this isn't like a top 5. It's just 5 films that I love from 1980. So Flash Gordon. Gotta love Flash Gordon. Like I said, the soundtrack by Queen is incredible. And yeah, love it. Fuck, I want to watch it now. Right, okay, cool. So let's move on from Flash Gordon to the obvious one being The Empire Strikes Back. Like, The Empire Strikes Back. If you do not put The Empire Strikes Back on a list of top movies of 1980, you seriously need to have your head seen to. And I'm not saying this as a massive Star Wars fan. Even if you don't like Star Wars, there is no denying how good Empire Strikes Back is. It is a phenomenally written sci-fi adventure movie of the highest order that builds the world even more so than George Lucas did in 1977 with the first Star Wars. Star Wars was a game changer, and it was a massive hit in 1977. As you probably are aware, like, Star Wars was a global phenomenon, and there's always that worry that the sequel is going to it's not going to deliver on what the first film brought. Sorry, my brother just texted me to tell me he'd be home at 9:30. So so there's no way of knowing whether or not the Empire in 1980. There was no way of knowing whether or not the Empire Strikes Back could deliver on what Star Wars: A New Hope did in 1977. George Lucas this time wasn't writing and directing it. Well, he wasn't writing it, but he wasn't directing it. That fell to Irving Kershner, who was, as I believe, I think he was one of Lucas's professors when he was at UCLA Film School. And he went to Kirsch and he asked if he would direct The Empire Strikes Back. He agreed, and then went and asked Lawrence Kasdan to help with the script to Empire Strikes Back, which I think, as a writer, Lucas is great at building a world, but as a story and dialogue writer, he's not the best. Like, we know he's not the best. If you look at the prequels, and the prequels have massively grown on me since Phantom Menace first came out. I consider the Star Wars saga to be episodes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The Disney ones don't really enter into it because they don't have that George Lucas stamp to it. So that, for me, is what Star Wars feels like. But saying that, there are Disney Star Wars products or things like that actually fit the same mold as the original Lucasfilm Star Wars movies, which are Rogue One and the first 2 seasons of Mandalorian, Skeleton Crew, which has the magic and adventure of a Spielberg film, but set in a George Lucas-esque science fiction Star Wars universe. And Andor seasons 1 and 2. I am still currently watching season 2 of Andor. It started off quite slowly up till about episode 8, and then episode 8 just fucking knocked it out the park. And Rogue One is so close, so you can see it just on the horizon. That's how close the show has managed to get to Rogue One, and it's been a phenomenal show. And it reminded me of the writing of Empire Strikes Back, because there is sort of political intrigue in Empire. There is the rebellion now in full swing with the ice base on Hoth. You've got Mon Mothma. You've got it's just such a good fucking movie. And then for them to then go to Bespin and introduce Lando Calrissian and how he kind of double crosses his old friend Han by sort of siding with Darth Vader when really didn't really have a choice. It was kind of forced upon him. But then obviously we get the redemption arc of Lando Calrissian sort of at the end of Empire and the beginning of Return of the Jedi. But yeah, there's something about sitting down, watching the original Star Wars movies just all the way through, and there is like a lot of this. Again, nostalgia is a big part of watching movies. It's a huge part of watching movies. But watching the original Star Wars films back to back, like episode 4, 5, and 6, gives you this huge nostalgic punch in the gut that reminds me of being a kid and having Star Wars on in the background while I played with my tiny little Star Wars figures and my massive Millennium Falcon and my Slave One and my X-Wing, and I had the Darth Vader battle cruiser that had the little bit you could sit Darth Vader in, and it just reminds me of those days of being a very small child or very young child and just absolutely adoring Star Wars. And I adore the Lucasfilm Star Wars stuff to this day. And there are parts of the Disney Star Wars movies that I like. Like, I will rewatch them now and again. Like, I think I've seen The Force Awakens like 4 times. I've seen The Last Jedi 3 times, and I've seen Rise of Skywalker 3 times as well. But there are films that I can rewatch, even if I can see the flaws in them. I mean, there's nothing to say that the George Lucas Star Wars films are flawed. They are massively flawed. There are flaws in certain things that Lucas has put out. Like, there's a lot of sort of retconning of certain things in the prequel trilogies to the original trilogy. But Empire Strikes Back, not only does it have insanely good world building, it also has insanely good performances, specifically by Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher, and Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker. And it also has one of the greatest lightsaber battles of all time, and that reveal from Darth Vader. So Luke versus Vader for the first time on Bespin is like, how, I don't know how to describe how good that section is. I mean, the lightsaber battle at the end of Return of the Jedi between Vader and Luke is a battle of emotion and anger, which you can see via Luke's facial expressions. But the battle, the lightsaber duel at the end of Empire is just magnificent, and it ends with that huge reveal that just takes you out, punches you in the face, and you're like, what the hell? What? And it still kind of gives me chills even now. Even after having seen Empire Strikes Back like a million fucking times, it still gives me chills when he says the line. And you see Luke's face, and he's like, no, that's impossible. After his hand has been sliced off by Vader's red lightsaber blade, and he just drops down through Bespin, through the garbage chute, onto the aerial underneath to get picked up by the Millennium Falcon, and then we end with Luke having his hand stitched. Han's being taken by Boba Fett, who is taking him to Jabba after being frozen in carbonite for the bounty that is on Han's head. And yeah, it's just so good. It's so good. I spoke about Empire Strikes Back in the first favorite movies from each genre, where I said, come on, let's face it, it's probably the greatest science fiction film of all time. But yeah, I love Empire Strikes Back. So, Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. Yeah, it's great. I fucking love that movie. I really do. Moving swiftly on, we have a film which is really fucked up. I'm not going to lie. It's a fucked up movie. It is a very fucked up movie. It was banned in pretty much every single country, apart from Germany, probably. It's 1980s Cannibal Holocaust, a film that is absolutely disgusting. And why have I put it as one of my favourite films of 1980? Well, one, it's probably one of the only films from 1980 I have seen more than once. So that is a reason there. But despite its really messed up sort of... There's a lot of animal cruelty in the film, which I usually skip across, because I have no interest in seeing real life animal cruelty. It's disgusting. The reason that I like the film is because I think it's an incredibly well made movie, considering the era and the sort of exploitative nature behind the film itself. I can sort of see where Ruggero Deodato was going with that movie to try and make a critique on Western society and how they are influential. They're bad influence on indigenous and undiscovered tribes in the Amazon rainforest and stuff. Which I think there was another film. I think there was a film made by... No, there was a film made by Eli Roth called The Green Inferno, which could have done the same thing, but it didn't. It just went straight exploitation. Now, what I really like about Cannibal Holocaust is not only does the film start with this really beautiful piece of music by Riz Ortolani that sets the tone for the... I say it sets the tone. It doesn't really set the tone at all, because you have this gorgeous piece of music over helicopter footage of the Amazon rainforest in all its bright green glory. And it's this beautiful piece of music that precedes some of the most horrific footage ever captured on screen. And it's the juxtaposition of beauty and horror that I think really makes the film stand out. It's also a very well constructed movie. Like, the first half of the movie is a found footage film. It's about a group of filmmakers who go to the Amazon, or documentary filmmakers who go to the Amazon rainforest to make a documentary about these cannibals out in the rainforest and how that all kind of goes fuck up. And then the second half is all about a journalist going to the same area to find out what happened to the film crew. Whereas the first half is shot documentary style, like a found footage video. It's shot on Super 8. Well, it's not. It's actually shot on maybe 16mm, I think, but it's meant to look like it's shot on Super 8 or 8mm or very, very low quality 16mm film in shaky hand style camera work. And then the second half of it is shot like you would shoot a movie with dollies and static camera shots and stuff like that. And I think for me personally, as a person who went through a stage of watching extremely graphic horror movies, I don't tend to do that anymore. I've kind of, I'm not going to say grown out of horror films, because there are people who are huge horror movie fans that still watch horror movies religiously. I personally prefer to watch horror comedies now, because I don't really want to get dragged back into that world of horror. Don't get me wrong, I fucking love horror movies. I still fucking love them. I mean, Dawn of the Dead's still my second favorite film of all time. I love watching the Scream movies. I love watching like Nightmare on Elm Street. Not a big Jason fan. I'm not a big Friday the 13th fan. So I like the slasher movies. I fucking love zombie movies. I can watch zombie movies for days. But the full hardcore graphic horror movies of the early 80s, like the Zombies, Flesh Eaters, and Cannibal Holocaust, and Cannibal Apocalypse, Cannibal Ferox, these video nasty movies, they just don't do it for me anymore. And I think Cannibal Holocaust is the only one that really stands out because of how very, very well made I think the film is, which is why it's one of my choices for favorite film of 1980. Now, like I said, it's not really a favorite film, but it's a film I've seen more than once from 1980, which was a very, very limited list of films. So moving from Cannibal Holocaust to a little bit more lightheartedness now with 1980's sequel to the 1977 Superman movie, Superman 2, which originally I believe was shot back to back by Richard Donner, who was then removed from the film, and certain things were reshot, or he was removed, I think, halfway through filming. I'm not 100%, and replaced by Richard Lester. And there are available two cuts. You have the Richard Lester cut and you have the Richard Donner cut. Personally, I actually kind of prefer the original theatrical version. I don't know why. I mean, Richard Donner's cut is okay. It's a little bit messy, but it's a fun superhero movie. And Christopher Reeves is still the greatest Superman that has ever been cast. He just embodies that, or like that, just awesomeness of Superman. And I'm not gonna shit on Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill was a great Superman. Dean Cain was a decent Superman in Lois and Clark. My hair's all over the place. In Lois and Clark. Be intrigued to see what this new guy is like in James Gunn's new Superman movie. What else is there? But yeah, Superman 2 is a very enjoyable comic book movie. The Superman 1 and Superman 2 are the best of the original Superman films, obviously being the case, because Superman 3 is a bit of a mess, and Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, is fucking terrible. It has a villain that doesn't work in the shade, but can easily fight on the moon. You also have the story of General Zod, who has now escaped from the Phantom Zone, who comes to Earth to essentially take over the planet because he has the same sort of powers as Clark Kent. And whereas Clark uses his powers for good, Zod and his cronies were using their powers for basically evil, which is what you'd expect from a villain. But what makes the film work so well is the fact that the villain is played brilliantly and so hammy by Terrence Stamp, and Terrence Stamp is great in the role. Sarah Douglas is in it as well, and I can't remember the name of the big guy, but like Flash Gordon, Superman 2 is an exceedingly fun movie. Is it the second Superman movie with Larry Hagman playing a soldier who stops a nuclear war and a nuclear bomb on a mountain pass that is being hijacked by Lex Luthor and Ned Beatty and Miss Teschmacher? I think so. But again, with Superman, you have that wonderful, iconic John Williams music that sets the tone for Superman forever. I mean, Bryan Singer's Superman in 2006 used the John Williams score for that movie. You then got James Gunn's upcoming Superman movie that used the John Williams score, or a variation of John Williams score, or a cover, I guess, of the John Williams intro music. Intro music? Sorry, John. I didn't mean your intro music. Your score, your suite, your Superman suite for the trailer. The only thing that I think it was missing from was Zack Snyder's Superman movies. But Hans Zimmer's Man of Steel score is actually really, really good. And I'm not a massive Hans Zimmer fan. I think his scores can tend to sound non-cinematic, even though he has done stuff for Christopher Nolan's Interstellar and Inception. He did the music for Batman as well. But there's something about orchestral scores that I think really make a film what it is. Like, you could change the music in Christopher Nolan movie to something else and it would still be the same movie. I don't really think that Zimmer's score for Inception or for Batman actually makes a huge difference to the film. It does for Interstellar. I'm not going to lie, it does for Interstellar. There is bits of emotion that you get from that score in those movies. But then you've also got, like, the music. If you took John Williams' score out of a Spielberg movie, or if you removed John Williams' score from Star Wars, removed John Williams' score from Indiana Jones, removed it from Schindler's List, removed it from Saving Private Ryan, removed it from E.T., removed it from Close Encounters, you would not have the same film. Because while they are expertly written, expertly directed movies by Spielberg, John Williams' score is what really makes those films stand out. Like Jaws intro, doo-dum, 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 is just incredible. The do 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 from Close Encounters, amazing. The flying theme from E.T. is just so magical and just so brilliant. And then you've got the adventurous tone from Indiana Jones, the poignant, sad, like, emotional gut punch of Schindler's List, Jurassic Park's magic, like, the wonder of seeing dinosaurs for the first time ever, but with human eyes, is just, yeah. So John Williams kind of works best for me. I'm saying that as a huge John Williams fan. So I might be biased there. I don't know. But yeah, the Superman movie, Superman 2, is my fourth pick for my fifth favorite. Well, for one of my 5 favorite movies of 1980. And my final pick is no. You know what? I'm gonna cut it there. I'm going to do 4 movies from 1980 because 1980 was really, really hard to do. So I'm going to stop at 4 movies, and 1981 I'll add an extra movie, so it'll probably be 6 movies. And then we'll drop it back down to 5 because 1982 to 1989 is going to be really, 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 really hard to do because there are so many insanely good films to choose from, and narrowing it down is going to be an absolute fucking nightmare. So yeah, my name is Pedro. Hope you enjoyed this little video. This is my top 4 movies of the year 1980. 80. So hope you all enjoyed my ramble and my tangent on Star Wars and John Williams music. Yeah, I will see you all soon, and I'm going to go and watch Dirty Dancing again, I think. So, as usual, my name is Pedro. This is Pedro's Movie Cavern. I'm going to give you a salute, throw up the peace sign. I can't see. Throw up the peace sign. I'm going to do that again because that was fucking shit. Let's face it. I'm going to give you a salute. I am going to throw up the peace sign. I keep doing that because the camera's over there. I'm out. Fuck it. I'm out. Fuck it. I can't be bothered. Right. Peace. See ya. I'm out. Cheers, everyone.